here's your conservative, but not bitter host, Todd Huff.
Conservative, not bitter indeed. In fact, conservative, not bitter, and in need of a haircut. My oh my, I just did a Facebook Live video making sure people knew that they could watch hour 2 of our program for free on YouTube for the foreseeable future. And I need a haircut. Many of you probably need a haircut as well. But I will tell you, it's not the only reason I want to see the economy reopen. That, by the way, is something that kind of sticks in my craw. And I've heard this a lot. In fact, I heard it from Morning Joy yesterday. I saw it last night on Tucker. I'd forgotten about this until just right now. I was watching it as I was wrapping up the day. It was a long day yesterday. Long day, got home, had some dinner, visited with the family for a bit, and watched a little bit of Tucker. And he was sharing a clip of Morning Joy. Of course, she's on MSNBC, so that is, Lunaticville. But she's saying that, Americans, basically white Americans are wanting to get a haircut and play golf, and they're trying to force brown-skinned Americans to work and put their lives at risk so that we can get haircuts and play golf. I mean, I'm, for one, sick of this silly stuff. These are the sorts of comments to me that show someone is completely living in a place outside of reality. I understand if someone doesn't want to, I understand if someone is afraid of coronavirus. As I've shared on here before, and as I've shared a graphic on Facebook, one that I did not do, I just thought was well done. It says it's possible to have all three of these things, and there's 3 circles, right? And they overlap. You've seen these charts before. Circle 1 says, I'm concerned about coronavirus. I take it seriously, and I'm concerned about what it can mean for the health and safety of Americans. I'm concerned about the economy. I want to see the government reopen the economy so as to make sure that people can provide for their families and live a free life. And I'm concerned, the 3rd circle, is with government overreach. I'm concerned, though it does make me chuckle because it's so petty and silly. Petty, what was that? I think it was, we spoke with someone the other day about, I can't remember who it was, right? Andy Biggs. Andy Biggs is who said it. He said that they're petty tyrants. We're dealing with petty tyrants around this country at all levels of government. You've got people that are dumping sand in skate parks. You've got people who are arresting people for opening their beauty shops, their restaurants, whatever. Putting a woman in jail for 7 days, for violating the governor's order in Texas. She didn't serve the full 7 days, and they have since fixed that situation, thankfully. But nonetheless, that's still what she had to endure. And so there's a false narrative out there. The narrative that's false is this: Americans who want to open the economy only want to get haircuts and play golf. That's it. They want to have haircuts, get their hair cut, and play golf. Now, I would like to get a haircut. My wife cut my hair. She actually did a pretty good job. She did a pretty good job cutting the hair. But I've only had one of the haircuts during this whole process of COVID-19, quarantining, social distancing, stay home, stay safe, whatever the newest tagline or hashtag is. I only had one haircut during that time, and that's a long time for me. I think I normally go about 3 weeks. I go about 3 weeks before I get the haircut. Sometimes 2. I think 2 is really ideal. Sometimes I go a month, and that is pushing it quite a bit. I've gone well over a month at this point, and it is obvious that it's hanging over my ears and not completely, but it's not as it normally is. So we got to get that fixed. But that's not why I want to reopen the economy, though. There's nothing wrong with someone who cuts hair for a living wanting to take care of their customers again and get paid. What is wrong with that? See, I have this crazy notion that apparently is in the minority, Maybe not in this audience, but maybe it is nationwide. But I happen to believe that any job is an essential job. What is this? Why is the government in charge of telling us what is essential and unessential? Non-essential, I guess is what they call it. Non-essential, stay home. There are so many competing messages, contradictory things. Social distancing is great. You can go out, do what you need to do, socially distance, but unless you go to a place that they deem is not an essential business, then apparently social distancing doesn't work. Now, this stuff is beginning to lift, and it's lifting at various times and speeds and in different phases across the country, and we've got to be smart about this. And there's some really, really good news coming out of Georgia, the state of Georgia, who was one of the first states to begin to move. Governor Brian Kemp took a lot of flack for this. People predicting there's going to be a fresh outbreak because of this in Georgia. Now, it certainly could happen, but the initial data is in, and Georgia has seen the lowest number of cases at this particular point in time than they have in the past month, and that's in the wake of reopening. Now, again, I'm not dancing on the proverbial grave of coronavirus here. That's not what I'm saying, but I am saying that there were a lot of things that were said about coronavirus, a lot of predictions, a lot of dire predictions that said if you do these things, you're going to basically kill, well, however many Americans that they can shove into some model or estimate. And look, I don't fault the modelers for there's unknowns and uncertainties, but they seem to err. They seem to dramatically overstate this, and they'll say, well, it's because we didn't know what action Americans were going to take, and Americans took to the social distancing policy much better than we expected, and states adopted extreme measures and all this stuff. Who knows? Who knows what the truth is and all this stuff? All I know is that there's nothing wrong with wanting the economy to open up again. There's nothing wrong with thinking that if someone has a business or a job, that it is in their best interest to work. That is how wealth is created. Wealth is not created with the Staples easy button. Wealth is not created because the government says let's produce more money and put more money in people's accounts. That goes on the books as debt, which means that revenue has to be generated from future generations and then paid into or paid back to our government, which that's assuming we ever pay the debt back. I'm just simply saying it's a negative. It shows up as debt. The only way revenue comes into the coffers of the United States government is if the American public is productive, if they are doing things that produces wealth and value, things that make them personally better off than they were before the transaction, and things that make, then of course, that fuel the government as well. And there's of course legitimate roles for taxes. I'm not an anarchist. Some people act like all taxes are bad. We have to have some taxes. The problem is we've got way too many. We're way past some. We're to the extreme where in some states, some people are paying over half of the... Who can argue for that? Who can argue that paying over half of your income to taxes is justifiable? Why should anyone else... And I think you should make the case for much, much less than half. But I'm saying surely we should draw the line at half. Surely no one really believes that if you work for something, that someone should get more than you and you're the one that's doing it. Surely that's not acceptable to anybody. But I know that there are people who do accept it. Then they want to begin to talk about the type of work. What type of work did you do? What type of work did you do? Because we don't want to, we might want to take more of it based upon the sort of thing you had to do to generate the wealth, which is silly. It's none of the government's business, but this is the kind of stuff that we hear from Morning Joy, from other radical hosts on MSNBC, from other hosts and anchors and journalists, so-called journalists, on the, on other networks, on other stations, other outlets. But it's not true. Sure, there's somebody out there, probably some celebrity. Tell you what, if I have to listen, I don't have to listen, but if I see another headline telling me how bad a celebrity wants out of their house, I'm going to lose my mind. I don't care. I don't care. I'm more concerned about, now don't misunderstand me. I don't want them locked away because the government arbitrarily decides to do that. But there's real problems here with people being shut up at home. And it's not because they want haircuts, and it's not because they want to play golf, and it's not because they're a celebrity that's whining that they can't go out and, enjoy the celebrity scene. I'm concerned about people, people's freedoms, even if they fall into those groups. So to be clear, I do care about it in that sense. But that's not the main. I mean, we're talking about people's livelihoods here. Let's focus on that aspect. Because some people don't care about freedom, and they should. I'm not suggesting that we should just blow that off, but we've got to explain, hey, this is not people that just are ho-hum haphazard about the spread of coronavirus. These are people who want to see the economy open up because this is how they provide for their families. Businesses are not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination yet. Things are better today than they were yesterday in my estimation, at least here where I'm sitting in central Indiana. I sense the same in Utah as well, which is, we've talked to some people out there about potentially coming on board as new advertisers in the state of Utah. I'm basing this on conversations that our team, our sales folks have had with, that John has had with some of these folks, and other things that I see, businesses that we speak to. But the truth is we've got to get back to work. As Trump said from the beginning, the treatment, the cure can't be worse than the original ailment. We can't jump from the frying pan into the fire. And again, that doesn't mean that we ignore. I love the way of thinking that some have that says you're either for a total shutdown, isolation, lock people away, throw away the key, make sure that they don't touch anybody, see anybody, breathe in anyone's direction, or you're in favor of just everything being wide open with no, I don't want to say restrictions, but guidelines. The government should be giving guidelines. Why can't it be both? Why can't it be we want to adhere to the guidelines, we want to follow the steps that are necessary to keep people safe? If people are really concerned personally about their susceptibility to the virus, then they should not put themselves out there. That is a responsibility that they bear. The rest of us should just behave responsibly. We shouldn't be terrified to go out. We should be cautious. We should understand that, we need to wash our hands. We need to probably keep our distance from people. Yes, we need to, be wise and to not start licking the floor in Walmart or something. But the truth is that every day we begin to see this is better. This is better for the American people. This is better for the government. Now, it may not be better for their egos. It may not be better for their hunger for power to tell you what to do and when you can do it and why you can do it. Governor of California, I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. He actually sent out a statement, a list of things. We posted this before. Posted it on Facebook, talked about this on here. He actually gave his citizens permission to watch both a sunrise and a sunset. You get in the state of California to watch both, folks. They will allow it. I just question a state, a citizenry, a group of people who actually think that that's fine. The governor says you can watch. Let me give a list of things that we approve of you doing. Why can't you just say, here's social distancing guidelines. We need people to abide by these because we've learned about how the virus spreads. Live your life, do what you have to do, but follow these guidelines to the best of your ability so that we limit the spread of this virus. That's not what they did. They dumped sand in a skate park because people were out there skating. How ridiculous is that? How ridiculous is that? It's amazing to me, people who just won't accept that is ridiculous. Some people and I guess think that that's acceptable and good and necessary for the government to keep us from harming ourselves, which is another bad part of the situation as well. That's not really the job of the government. They promote the general welfare. They don't provide it. They don't demand it. They have no control over what you eat, although they certainly want to. They certainly would like to tell you what to eat. And however they can back into that, they will. That's one of the reasons, just one, that people have questions and problems with this notion. Just one of the problems with the universal health care, because the government can then say, hey, we're paying for your health care, so you've got to eat and do what we tell you to do. We want you to exercise 3 times a week. We want you to drink this much water a day. You can't have this much sugar. This product is outlawed. That's not American. That's certainly not American at all. And that's the sort of things that we see from the government, and it gets pettier and pettier. Or is it more petty? Either way, it gets to be less about the big issues and more about the minutia. That's why they dump sand in skate parks. I'll never forget that. And we shouldn't forget that. That's silliness. That is what government does. That is petty. Well, that's what mismanaged government does. You give government too much power, this is the sort of thing you see. But back to Joy Reid, I think her name is, Morning Joy. The average American isn't looking to go golf and get a haircut and at the same time put people with brown skin at higher risk. We're all at risk. I mean, we've gone through this. We've listened to people tell us. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, male, female. We're all at risk from this virus. By the way, it targets men. Men have a higher mortality rate from coronavirus than women. You don't hear me coming on here talking about this being a sexist virus, although maybe we should, that targets men disproportionately. I don't think about those terms. I just think about, hey, we have a disease here that's hurting people. Let's try to figure out how to stop this without completely shutting down the economy and the way of life altogether, further causing harm to Americans and to their families. Got to take a time out. You're listening to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, we have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
Business leaders, are your employees satisfied with their jobs? Do they enjoy coming to work and feel valued? Workforce Chaplains can help. Locally owned, we work with organizations to provide holistic care to their employees. I'm Marcus Schrader, president of Workforce Chaplains, and we offer your team a 24/7 support system that positively affects your company's culture and productivity. With our personalized pricing and diverse support system, we handle the issues that you wish you had time for. To learn more, visit us at workforcechaplains.com.
Outside of the federal government, no one likes losing money. Any amount of money, not just the $6 billion the State Department lost. And what makes losing money worse is knowing that we could have done something to stop it. Well, if you have an inefficient furnace, a toilet that won't stop running, or a leaky faucet, you can do something about it. You can call the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. Call 317-831-5279 or visit economyheatingandair.com.
Hi, my name is John Swadner, Sales Director of the Todd Huff Show. As a listener of the program, you know the show is growing. 4 years ago, it began as a podcast in a closet. Today, it's a 2-hour show that airs during morning drive in Indy and in Utah, and we're just scratching the surface. Todd brought me on board to help the show and our advertisers grow. That's why I'm specifically looking for partners who are a good fit to advertise with us. Would that be you? To learn more about what advertising would look like and to determine if it's a good fit for your business, shoot me an email to john@toddhuffshow.com. And be sure to ask me about some of our special packages that will save you up to 40%. Email John at toddhuffshow.com. Shoot me an email today.
Ever ask yourself, what does my business insurance actually cover? Well, at AIA and Avon, we think you deserve to know. AIA is focused on earning your trust. We've found that when we educate our clients and truly listen to them, they allow us to work alongside them to put together the insurance plan they need. Whether your business is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com. Advertisement sponsored by Grange Insurance.
The compassion of Christ compels us to stop what we're doing and seek that person out. I think as Jesus went, in that famous song I sang as a little kid was Zacchaeus, come down. Zacchaeus was in a tree and he wanted to engage with Jesus, but he just couldn't, and Jesus stopped and he went over to him. If we are going to live a life of compassion, the compassion of Christ, are we willing to stop and seek those who need a touch of compassion today?
Are you an electrician, plumber, or handyman looking for an 8-to-5 job that pays you what you're worth? Copper Ridge Home Services wants you. Our veteran-owned family business offers holiday pay, weekends off, and on-site training for entry-level positions. Our team is growing, so if you have a can-do attitude, we want you to be part of that growth. Ready for a change? Give Copper Ridge a call at 317-839-6100. That's 317-839-6100. Copper Ridge Home Services. We value your time.
Welcome back. So, one of the things, again, I'll take a moment here to tell you that we are, you've heard us talk about this before, but today, on Tuesdays, we actually release, or send out, I should say, our most recent email newsletter. Semi-sweet morsels of truth, folks. It's conservative, not bitter. Just the right amount of sweetness. Semi-sweet morsels of truth. And so one of the things we're going to be talking about in this issue is the anatomy of a scandal, the anatomy of collusion. We're going to look back at a couple of things, and we're going to look at what Trump's been accused of with Trump-Russian collusion, which doesn't meet the criteria of conspiracy, scandal. It's simply fodder for the Democrat Party and the media to point to. And of course, that narrative in a sane world would be completely unraveled by this point. It would be completely unraveled because there's no evidence. Remember, Adam Schiff had told us for all these months and years that, oh my goodness, if you could have the information I had, you would be floored. It is so obvious that Trump colluded with Russia. It is so obvious that there was inappropriate things happening, conspiracies and so forth. But yet, now that we have the evidence released, we have transcripts released anyway, we see that not one single person can point to one single actual piece of evidence regarding Trump-Russia collusion. And not only that, I've said this from the very beginning. You would think that if you had a plan to steal the election from your opponent, that the last step in that process would not be, now we're going to leave it up to chance. We put our ads out there. I mean, at some point, that sounds like a regular campaign to me. We put our ads out there and we let people vote. Right? We put our ads on Twitter and Facebook and even Pokemon Go. You know what? I think I was running at the park. What day would this have been? This was either this weekend or maybe Friday. It wasn't yesterday. It must have been this weekend. I can't remember the last time I was at the park. And I think I saw the Pokemon Go crowd. I think I saw them congregating in the park. And if I'm being honest, I think they were closer than 6 feet. Closer than 6 feet. Maybe I should have reported it. I don't know. And there wasn't a huge group, but there was a group, I'm going to guess, of around 10, all staring at their phones, doing what I normally see the Pokemon Go folks doing, which is go to the designated location, stare at their phones, do whatever it is that they do, and then move to the next location. I'm so tempted every time I go by a crowd like that, to ask them, how many of you were tricked into voting for Trump? How many of you, because you were playing this game, were tricked into voting for Trump by Vladimir Putin? Is this what a real conspiracy sounds like to you? I mean, the idea of a conspiracy is to be able to be in control of the outcome, right? I mean, you just don't say, we're going to go through all this sophisticated series of events and then we're going to leave it up to the American people to vote. You're going to try to break in and change the vote tallies. You're not just simply going to go to Pokemon Go and say, our plan involves ads on Pokemon Go. And as I've said before, if these ads are this effective, whoever came up with these ads, if it's Vladimir Putin, he needs to start an ad agency. He needs to start a marketing firm. Because the truth is, if you can get people to take action, you know, whether it's vote for a candidate or in the business world, if it's getting them to buy your product or to visit your website or to take that next call to action, the next step, that would be amongst the most incredible thing for businesses to deal with. And I would think businesses would be pounding on the door of anyone that knows how to magically get people to do exactly what they want them to do, simply by seeing their ad. This is not the anatomy of a conspiracy. This is not the anatomy of what it looks like for a scandal. We have, by the way, roadmaps of what it looks like for scandals and conspiracies. And I have to say this, what we see with Michael Flynn, even though the media, Vox is out there, I see, of course it's Vox. Vox isn't media. Vox is radical propaganda, radical viewpoint at least, propaganda at worst. And it's basically, they're out there saying that Trump is peddling some conspiracy theory by calling this stuff Obamagate, basically laying this at the foot of Obama and saying this is the direct response, or the President Obama is directly responsible for what happened to Michael Flynn, how they tried to politicize this. Like, you can actually trace through the steps of this, and you can say, oh, this is why they did this. This makes sense. And then, of course, at the end of the process, there's a step that involves something that they have control over. It doesn't simply say, we're going to leave it up to some arbitrary person at some point. And if we do, we're going to so stack the deck against them, we're going to be providing information, so-called evidence in the process that's even convincing to those who may be fair-minded. So there's steps, there's necessary things, there's safeguards, there's kind of, some redundancies built in to guarantee that you get your desired outcome. You just don't simply let it up to chance. That's just not how this works. But that's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that Trump is the one peddling conspiracy theories, which, if the truth be known, the media was peddling conspiracy theories. In fact, you could call it the conspiracy theory media, with its insatiable desire to have the Trump-Russian collusion allegations be true. But again, not for the reasons of caring about truth, not for the reasons of caring about justice. Instead, for caring about a desired election outcome, for caring about stopping a president. So, anyway, that's where we are. Got to take a time out. When we get back, shift gears. You're listening to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I am your host, Todd Huff. I should advise you, listening to this program may in fact cause you to lean to the right. My attorneys tell me I need to make that known, just from a perspective of public safety here this morning. So you have been advised. Sit tight, be back in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter? To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Greg Hubler from Greg Hubler Chevrolet. You know, a promise can get lost in a big city, but in a smaller town, a promise made had better be a promise kept. That's why the Greg Hubler Promise covers every vehicle we sell. All new Chevys receive a 3-year, 45,000-mile scheduled maintenance, plus complimentary roadside assistance and a free car wash with every visit. A promise made is a promise kept. Stop by Greg Hubler Chevy today or visit GregHublerChevy.com. Cruise on over to Campy. Find new roads.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the words. For on time.
I love my community, and I wanted to do more to make a difference with my hard-earned dollars. I wanted to make an impact and help shape our future and our county. So I gave money to the Community Foundation of Morgan County. More than just charitable giving, the money I donate is tracked and measured so every dollar is held accountable. It's a social return on your investment. Why don't you join me in donating at cfmconline.org? That's cfmconline.org. Philanthropy with measurable impact.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 back at $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Wallace Construction is a family-owned business with 45 years' experience in asphalt, concrete, and seal coating. At Wallace Construction, our wide variety of experience and top-notch customer service have helped us build a strong reputation in Central Indiana. But we don't rest on that reputation. We build it, one job at a time. If you have an upcoming project, call us at 317-422-5356. That's Wallace Construction, 317-422-5356, and ask for Richard or Roger.
Healthcare is expensive and complicated. Did you know that as a Christian business owner, it is possible to provide access to affordable health benefits for your employees? Remodel Health has helped employers across the United States save over $22 million in the past 3 years. Our innovative approach allows your employees to have the health benefits they need at a cost you can afford. Go to remodelhealth.com/Todd to help your employees find the health care they deserve. Remodel Health. Rethink employee health benefits.
Welcome back. So, I want to shift gears here a little bit. Talk about a candidate running for Congress in New York's, I think it's 12th district. This is reported at hotair.com. I'm going to read this. Jazz Shaw posted this a couple of days ago. In New York City's well-heeled 12th congressional district, a housing activist named Pete Harrison is running in the Democratic primary to unseat incumbent Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney. But that's not the only campaign he's waging. Harrison is currently engaged in a, quote, rent strike against his landlords, Blackstone Real Estate. This is a rather curious position to take, as we'll get to momentarily, but he seems adamant about seeing that nobody has to pay their rent during the pandemic shutdown. He was recently offered the chance to pen an op-ed on the subject in the New York Daily News. Let's take a look at some of the backstory. This is what Mr. Harrison writes. My landlord, Stuyvesant Town, in Stuyvesant Town, is the private equity giant Blackstone, which happens to be the world's largest private landlord. Blackstone sent a letter to tenants on March 30th offering a, quote, rental assistance program, end quote, during COVID-19. The program just meant tenants can break their lease and move during a pandemic, use their security deposit and pay it back later, or commit to paying full rent over a longer period of time if we can prove we've suffered economic loss. This is wildly offensive, he writes. Blackstone has over $500 billion under management. It will eventually receive billions of public dollars during COVID-19 from both the CARES Act and the Federal Reserve. This is on top of the $225 million in help Blackstone received from the city to buy Stuyvesant Town in 2015. So, now I don't know what you know about this rent strike, but it is something that we should keep our eyes on because this is an example of one of the things that the radical left might use to their advantage to try to create their utopia, their radical ideology. They want to implement socialism. They want to use a crisis and make sure that a crisis never goes to waste. So you've got COVID-19 ravaging New York City. You've got landlords who depend upon tenants for rent, but yet they've come out with different things to try to help that. Now, from the landlord's perspective, of course, they want to be able to. No landlord, unless there's an egregious situation where someone's abusing the property and just a terrible tenant, nobody wants to evict a tenant. They'd love to find a way for that tenant to stay there because it's more expensive to find a new tenant than it is to keep a current one. And so there is an interest, I guess you could say, the interest of the landlords is to keep the tenants, especially in a situation like this. Because in a normal situation, if somebody loses a job and there's not COVID-19 out there and there's not 14.7% unemployment, then it's easier to find someone to move in, especially in a place with high demand like New York City. Now, that being said, it's also, that's not what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a pandemic where people there may not be an easy replacement for these current tenants. And so the landlords are thinking, we're going to be flexible. We'll see what we can do. It doesn't matter what they're worth. And I don't know if we can say definitively that they got CARES Act money. Is that possible? I don't know if he's referring specifically to the payroll protection program or what. Anyway, and I'm not a fan of the government picking businesses and picking winners and losers. I don't know about the specifics of they're receiving $225 million from the city to buy Stuyvesant Town in 2015. Maybe that is what happened, but the real fundamental problem here is that this guy says they've got enough. I don't, even though it appears, as Hot Air points out, that this guy has steady employment. He's a professor at Baruch Zicklin School of Business. It doesn't appear that he's unstable financially. He just believes that since he has less wealth than the corporation, that he shouldn't have to pay rent. And so he's pushing for this rent strike. He's also running for Congress in the 12th District of New York. And so as a result, what do we have? We have a group of people now who are arguing that people shouldn't have to pay rent based upon, I guess, the net worth of the person they're paying rent to. And they're calling for an organization of the people, because a landlord might be able to evict and deal with one or two people here and there, or, proportionally sporadic people. But if they all organize and coalesce and they say, we're all not going to pay, what are you going to do about it? That's effectively where we find ourselves. This is fundamentally, this is not American or capitalistic. This is not, you've agreed to pay it. They've shown they're willing to work with people who are having legitimate problems. You can't just arbitrarily say, we're not going to pay you because you have too much money. You can afford to let me stay here for free. You realize the dangerous precedent that sets? Of course you do, but does the radical left? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I think that they look at this as an opportunity to move people radically left towards socialism. And I think they also look at this as a way to appeal to probably the younger, not all of them, but of course the younger millennial voting base, who often finds themselves in these sorts of predicaments. And to get something for free, it's been demonstrated as appealing to a lot of people. So I just think it's worth pointing this out. This is an abuse of what is realistic and just. This is not the way to go about this. But yet this guy's running for Congress. He's running for Congress. He's organizing a rent strike. He doesn't understand why you have to pay for something to a wealthy company. They have the assets. I don't know why he decides, why he gets to be the judge and jury on this. I don't know why he thinks he knows the financial health of this particular company. It's not likely that they have a big, $2 billion cash, liquidity account sitting there waiting to pay their expenses in the event that no one decides to pay rent. This is actually quite a dangerous precedent. And then what happens if that company, just think this through. No one pays rent. Suddenly that company files for bankruptcy. What happens to the property? Does it just go downhill? Does it sell? Does the new buyer buy it at a bargain price? Does he or she, the new buyer, come in and radically change the building? Do they raise rent, lower rent? I don't know. Do they do renovations that change the layout of the building? Do they just want the property it's on and they knock the building down and put something else there? Who knows? But all he knows is that these people are too wealthy. They should be able to give him a free place to live simply because he desires it. And he's running for Congress. Perfect fit, by the way, for the Liberal Democrat Party today. Long in this segment. Got to take a time out. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. We've learned a lot at Moeller Printing over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
Geothermal tax credits are back, making this the perfect time to install a new Climate Master geothermal system. Take advantage of this limited time 26% tax credit and begin cutting your heating and cooling bills immediately. Visit indianageothermal.com/info to get your free Climate Master information kit or call 317-829-1490. Visit indianageothermal.com/info or call 317-829-1490. Geothermal, it's cheaper than you think.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $100 down, $200 down, $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freegee, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find at an auction, visit freegieauctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freegie, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit freegieauctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freegee, owner and lead auctioneer at Freegee Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
The compassion of Christ compels us to stop what we're doing and seek that person out. I think as Jesus went, in that famous song I sang as a little kid was Zacchaeus, come down. Zacchaeus was in a tree and he wanted to engage with Jesus, but he just couldn't, and Jesus stopped and he went over to him. If we are going to live a life of compassion, the compassion of Christ, are we willing to stop and seek those who need a touch of compassion today?
Seems like just yesterday that you couldn't find a quiet place to think in your home. Now all the kids have flown the nest and you find yourself wondering what to do with all of that extra space. This is Bruce of Bruce Richardson Realty. My team and I understand that life changes, and so do your home needs. So whether you're downsizing or upsizing, give us a call at 317-507-3285. Let us help you find the best fit for your residential or your commercial property needs. 317-507-3285.
Radon is an invisible, odorless gas that kills more people than drunk driving. In fact, radon is the leading cause of lung cancer in non-smokers. Is radon threatening the health of your family? Call Radon Environmental at 317-843-0804. Radon Environmental specializes in radon testing and mitigation. The process is quick, easy, and worth it. Radon Environmental wants to make sure your family's health is not at risk. Call 317-843-0804. Welcome back. So just a couple minutes here, short segment because I was long last segment, but you've seen, and I wanted to hit on this. I've referenced this a couple times the past few days, but I haven't spoken directly to it. Georgia has the lowest amount of ventilator use, the lowest number of positive COVID-19 hospitalizations, and that they've had in some time. So they're clear, and this is after going through the reopening process. And again, I'm not suggesting they're fully reopened, but folks, I understand hesitancy of some people. I understand that, they worry about a spike after this. I do understand that. I really do. Some may think that that's not a legitimate concern or fear, but there's a lot of things we still don't know about this virus, including if people can get it more than once, it sounds like. So I'm sympathetic to people who are skeptical and hesitant. I think we should be smart and safe on this. But at the same time, we have to reopen, as I've made abundantly clear, and as I think many of you agree with that. But I think that there are some people that are rooting against Georgia. I think people wanted. I'm not saying everybody, but I sense that they wanted it to be right. They wanted to be able to say these stupid Republican governors or whatever opening states are doing so because of Trump and politics, and everything's political now. Everything's political. We should be celebrating this, no matter who it was that gets, or who it is that gets the credit. Americans, this is in Americans' best interest. And if this continues on this trend, this is actually fantastic news. So I hope that's the case. Again, as I've said before, I'm not dancing on the metaphorical grave of COVID-19, but I am very encouraged about what these reports are telling us. This will only fuel more confidence in the economy if we can continue down this path, and that's where I hope we head. And I wish all Americans would embrace that, regardless of politics, regardless of ideology. Having Americans get back to work, making a paycheck, taking care of their families, doing things, generating tax revenues for the government. These things, surely someone can find something in there to be happy about. So, going to come back and wrap up. You're listening to Conservative Not Better Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Is it possible to be a fan of the show if you don't have the gear to prove it? Why not be safe and remove all doubt? Shop for official merchandise at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Healthcare is expensive and complicated. Did you know that as a Christian business owner, it is possible to provide access to affordable health benefits for your employees? Remodel Health has helped employers across the United States save over $22 million in the past 3 years. Our innovative approach allows your employees to have the health benefits they need at a cost you can afford. Go to remodelhealth.com/Todd to help your employees find the healthcare they deserve. Remodel Health. Rethink employee health benefits.
Hey Indianapolis, by now you've probably heard about Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group. Jody and his team are experts at helping you prepare your personal or small business tax returns. You can count on Midwest Tax Group to get every deduction possible and work for your higher refund. And not just on this year's taxes, they'll check your prior returns for any tax savings you may have missed for free. Are you behind on filing your returns? They can file past due returns and help negotiate with the IRS too. They complete most tax returns within a week and charge an affordable flat fee, no hourly billing. And as their client, you can consult with the team at Midwest Tax Group year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield, with evening and weekend appointments available. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. That's 317-288-5260. Or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com. Midwest Tax Group can help you more than any piece of software ever could.
If you own a rental property, you know the hassles of marketing, renting, collecting, and the handling of maintenance and repairs. One call to Zuluscape can put an end to your property management headaches. Zuluscape has over 20 years of experience helping landlords throughout central Indiana and taking the stress out of owning a rental. From A to Z, let Zuluscape handle it all so you can enjoy owning a rental instead of hating being a landlord. Give us a call at 317-663-8485 or visit our website at Zuluscape.com.
Ever ask yourself, what does my business insurance actually cover? Well, at AIA and Avon, we think you deserve to know. AIA is focused on earning your trust. We've found that when we educate our clients and truly listen to them, they allow us to work alongside them to put together the insurance plan they need. Whether your business is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com. Advertisement sponsored by Grange Insurance.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC. Welcome back. Again, we are far from out of the woods with COVID, long-term, getting back to normal, all that stuff, whatever that looks like even, because there will probably be some degree of changes. But the news coming out of Georgia is quite encouraging and quite good. It's not anywhere near time to dance on the grave of COVID. There's some things we need to be cautious of and aware of course. But this is excellent news. And I find myself really wondering. I really do. I find myself wondering if there are some out there, since everything is political today. Everything is political. Everything is, you root for your side to succeed when they're in power, and then you root against them when they're not. Why don't we root for the success of America regardless of who's in power? I just wonder if some are rooting against Georgia. I sure hope not. Anyway, I got to wrap up, guys. There's the music telling me it's time to go SDG. See you tomorrow. Take care.
When life is hard for the women you care about, there is help with issues such as widowhood, anxiety, depression, or abuse. They don't have to go through